Welcome to this next set of videos on the councils and Christological heresies of the early church. I'm going to talk about the councils of Ephesus and Chalcedon, and to put them into perspective, I'd like to outline the two schools of thought that drove the heresies that prompted the great councils. So, to look at these schools of thought, firstly, there is the school of Alexandria, which emphasized the divinity of Jesus. The school of Antioch, though, emphasized his humanity. And that's very important to note, that there were people who were pushing the truth of Jesus, who were emphasizing the truth of Jesus, but they're emphasizing one aspect of the truth of Jesus or another. So Alexandria in Egypt was home to scholars and thinkers who emphasized that in Christ, God was at work in redeeming the human race. With this emphasis on the work of God, they emphasized the unity of the divine and the human in Jesus. They were very fond of the prologue to John's Gospel that speaks of Jesus in terms of being the Logos, the Word, and flesh. Their emphasis on the divine work in Jesus, though, meant that sometimes they neglected his humanity. That became very evident with Apollinaris the Younger, who died around about 390 AD. He was bishop of Laodicea, which was in Syria. Apollinaris taught that in Jesus, the human soul was replaced by the divine Logos, or the Word. What this implied, though, was that Jesus was not completely human. So they were trying to emphasize the divinity of Jesus, which led to an implied denial of his humanity. And that heresy was condemned at the Council of Constantinople in 381 AD. In contrast to the school of Alexandria, there was the school of Antioch. The scholars of Antioch took the perspective that was opposite to the scholars of Alexandria. They focused on the humanity of Jesus. They emphasized the fact that Jesus came as a human so that he could save humans. They argued that without a full, proper, complete humanity, Jesus could not save human beings. And among the fathers of the church, there is a saying, "What is not assumed is not saved." So that if Jesus was not truly one of us, as Hebrews says, human like us in all ways but sin, if he was not like that, we could not have been saved. So the school of Antioch spoke of Jesus as the Logos, the Word, and a human being. Their problem, though, was maintaining the unity of the person of Jesus. It's good to know about these two schools because they contributed to the pendulum of Christology, swinging on the one hand between emphasizing the humanity of Jesus and on the other hand emphasizing his divinity. And this is something that's of historical interest for the early first millennium. It's probably also worth considering if we look at modern theology today. We can look at the controversies we have in the church about the nature of Jesus, and if we do that, we realize that this has all happened before, when people would emphasize something that was true about Jesus, but they would emphasize it to the exclusion of other dimensions or other aspects of the reality of Jesus Christ.